Hello and welcome back to my channel. I have 3 Dollar Tree boho DIYs for you today. These would be great in an office or a bedroom. I think they turned out really cute and I hope you like them as well. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. And I love hearing from you guys in the comments. Let me know which is your favorite DIY. So to start off on DIY number 1, we're going to use a 1-inch dowel and measure and cut. At first I cut at 22 and then I changed that to 16.5 inches. So you're going to measure that, cut it, and then we will sand it with this P180. Now I'm just mixing together some Elephant Waverly chalk paint with a little bit of water, and I'm going to stain this with the mixture. So you're going to need a rug from the Dollar Tree, whichever color you want, and some yarn in also whatever color you want. And I just laid the yarn on top of the carpet and measured it out a little bit longer than what the carpet was, but you're going to end up folding these pieces in half, so you would want to measure it out in half, if that makes sense. So now I'm just going to cut out several of these long pieces, and then I will actually do a variation of sizes. That way I wasn't wasting yarn. I did large to small, and this was originally how I wanted it to lay on the carpet, but yeah, so I did 7 different sizes, long to really short. Now I'm going to take some of this cotton twine from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to put it over top of it and then pull it through. And I'll do that all the way to the other end of the twine. So what I did after I'd gotten a lot on there, I started pushing it in from both sides. That way I could get as many on there as I could, and it would make it a lot thicker. So now I'm just gluing one end of the rug around the wooden dowel. So originally I was going to tie the cotton twine that the yarn is tied to. I was going to tie the cotton twine to the wooden dowel, but I decided instead to glue it down to the carpet so that it would be perfectly straight. So now, using some yarn from Dollar Tree, use whichever color you want. I chose gray because I thought it would go good with my carpet. And I'm going to wrap it around my hand 30 times. And we're just going to make a simple little tassel. So if you know how to do this, I will put a timestamp on so that you don't have to watch this part. But you're just going to go ahead and tie a string through the middle. And now you're going to tie another little piece of string at the top of the tassel. And whatever size or whatever the length you want this to hang on the carpet would be the length of the string that you ran through the loops at the very beginning. So now just cut through those loops, and then we'll give this thing a haircut, trim all those little pieces down to the same size. So now, taking some wire from Dollar Tree, I chose the silver. I'm going to start wrapping the tassel right there in the middle, or at the top where I tied it. And I'm not sure how many times I wrapped it. I wrapped it enough times to where you'd be able to easily see it. Once I was happy with how well you could see the wire that I had wrapped around the tassel, I cut it off with some wire cutters, and then I just pushed it down really good so it would not have to worry about cutting anyone. Now I'm just gonna tie the longest one on first and tie it in 2 knots, and then I will tie the other 3 tassels in varying lengths to the wooden dowel. So this is how DIY number 1 turned out. I think it turned out so cute. I am absolutely in love with how the white yarn piece looks on top, and obsessed with how the wire makes the tassels look. But alright, let's go ahead and move on to DIY number 2. I started by taping down every other popsicle stick, and then to make sure I was getting those straight, because I actually traced down this hexagon from the computer, I'm going to use the next popsicle sticks to lay over top just to make sure they all line up right. And once I get all of them on, I'll untape it before I add the very last popsicle stick, just so I can move everything around and make sure I was getting it as straight as possible. I hope that makes sense. But alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the first layer of popsicle sticks, and then I'll be So I started staining the hexagon, and then I realized that I really needed to sand it, so I stopped painting and went ahead and got my sandpaper out and just gave the whole thing a light sanding. And then I continued to stain 3 of the hexagons, and I ended up painting 2 of them with the Ivory by Waverly. So I'll just give you a quick little look at me painting this hexagon. I always like watching someone paint in high speed for some reason. Let me know down in the comments if y'all like me leaving in more of me painting, or if you would like for me to leave more of the painting out and just stick to the DIYing, because I know y'all don't need to know how to paint it, but I do like to show you guys. So let me know, is that something y'all don't or do like to see? So this is how it looks. I didn't have enough stuff to put in it, unfortunately, but I will update y'all on Twitter with some pictures and in my Facebook group. If you haven't joined me in my Facebook group, go ahead and go down in the description and there will be a link, and I'll have a link for my Instagram as well. So now DIY number 3, you're going to need the jumbo popsicle sticks. I went ahead and laid out 3 of the popsicle sticks and taped them down. You only need to make 1 whole hexagon, and then you'll need to make 4 hexagons with one side missing so that you can glue it to the other hexagon next to it, just like you see. It's easier to just watch what I'm doing than to listen to me explain, because I am horrible with directions and I am horrible with explaining things. So sorry if I ever confuse you guys, but I try. Now that I have the hexagons where I want them, I chose 3 different spots, and this is one of them, and I'm just going to start stacking the popsicle sticks on top of each other, and I did 20 or 21 high, I believe is how many I stacked on top of each other. I just wanted it to be big enough to set something on, so just as long as whatever you're wanting to sit on it will fit, then you're good. So this is the other spot that I chose to stack my popsicle sticks to make a shelf, and I'm just adding on the very last one right here, and I really think that it already looks so cute. So I'm going to place the popsicle stick underneath and get the right size for a piece to go underneath the little shelf here. And I'm going to do one on each side and one in the middle. And of course I'll do this to all three of my little popsicle stacked shelves. And this will just give it a little bit more reinforcement so that this thing will hold up and stay together. I also recommend using the Gorilla Hot Glue. It is amazing and you will not ever have to worry about this thing falling apart. I mean, don't hold me to that, but yeah. So now I'm just adding a second layer on to the whole thing because it was a little flimsy after I added the heavy shelving to it. So from stacking these all different directions, they weren't all stacked up the same height. So I would just place a little piece of a popsicle stick in where I needed to get the popsicle sticks to even out, or I would just cut off the right size, if that makes sense. So now I'm just gonna paint this whole thing from 1.5 to 2 coats, if that makes sense, of ink by Waverly Chalk Paint. I basically just gave the whole thing one coat and then gave it a second coat where it needed it. Make sure you get the sides that stick out from the second layer you added to the back, because you will be able to see that. So it takes a lot of time actually to paint this and the other hexagon DIY project I did, but it is so worth it. Look at this on my walls, you guys. I can't wait to film a haul so y'all can see it in my background. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell. Leave me a comment telling me which is your favorite DIY.